Live from ABC 7, David Ono, Ellen Leva, Dallas Rain's weather, and Rob Fukasaki sports. Now, Southern California's first high-definition news. Eyewitness News at 6.
A landmark settlement in the MacArthur Park May Day melee. The LA City Council approves nearly $13 million to pay claims from hundreds of protesters beaten by police. Good evening, I'm Michelle Tuzzi in for Ellen Leva.
I'm David Ono. This is Eyewitness News at 6. The settlement approved today covers almost 300 claims stemming from the clash between police and protesters at the May 1st, 2007 immigration rally in MacArthur Park. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Miller is live in downtown LA, where the settlement now goes to the mayor's desk. Leslie.
David, this settlement is likely just the beginning for the cash-strapped city of Los Angeles. There are 20 other cases at the state and federal level that are still pending. Cases like this one settled today, which have tarnished the reputation of the Los Angeles Police Department. They are the disturbing and unforgettable images of the now infamous May Day melee in MacArthur Park. What started as a peaceful May 1st rally in 2007 turned violent after a couple dozen people threw rocks and bottles at the LAPD. Officers in riot gear unleashed rubber bullets and batons on the large crowd of demonstrators and journalists, injuring several and resulting in more than 300 claims and lawsuits. Today, almost 2 years after the melee, City Council approved a $12.85 million settlement to the plaintiffs.
Certainly, we could have gone to court and fought this. It would have been far more expensive on the legal issues as far as attorney's fees, and so we settled for what we thought was the best interest of the city.
Attorneys for the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Education Fund are representing the plaintiffs. They say pictures like these help them make their case against the LAPD.
We had a lot of documentation of not just our clients and the injuries they suffered, but the actual officers who perpetrated them. It was possible to identify some of the officers, as the LAPD said in their own reports.
The LAPD fired 4 officers for their actions that day. As part of the settlement, the department has agreed to review its policies and practices involving crowd control and has launched massive retraining exercises for police personnel.
But our accountability has to be real. Our officers have to know that they cannot violate the rights of people, especially children and seniors who get beaten up by batons. And that just can't be allowed in this city.
Now, the nearly $13 million settlement still needs to be approved by a federal court judge, and the mayor still needs to sign off on it. Attorneys in the case will spend the next few months notifying all of the plaintiffs in the case and anyone else who comes forward saying they were in MacArthur Park on that day, May 1st, 2007. The plaintiffs should start receiving their money sometime by the end of the year. We're live outside City Hall in downtown Los Angeles. Leslie Miller, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Leslie, thank you. President Barack Obama is putting a cap on executive pay at firms receiving federal bailout money. Under the plan, Mr. Obama and Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner say senior executives from companies asking for help can't make more than $500,000. AIG, Bank of America, and Citigroup, which have received billions in bailout money, don't fall under this plan. Only banks negotiating future agreements with the government will be restricted. Reaction has been swift to President Obama's cap on executive pay, not just from Wall Street, but from the general public. Eyewitness News reporter Giovanna Lara is live in downtown LA with more on the chief executive putting corporate America on notice. Giovanna?
President Barack Obama says Americans are upset with executives for being rewarded for failure, especially when those rewards are subsidized by U.S. taxpayers. Amid the public outcry over billions of dollars in bonuses paid to financial managers as the economy was crashing, President Barack Obama today put Wall Street on notice.
Top executives at firms receiving extraordinary help from U.S. taxpayers will have their compensation capped at $500,000.
The announcement is well received by many on the streets of L.A., though it does have its critics.
You need the absolutely the best executive at the top of the helm, and you don't need the government telling the companies how to run their businesses.
I agree with President Obama that there should be a cap.
I'm glad that they're putting a cap on it. This way, at least they know that somebody's watching them.
I just think that the exorbitant prices that we pay some of these CEOs, especially in this economic climate, is just long overdue.
Their reactions are echoed in an exclusive Eyewitness News Survey USA poll. We asked viewers, do you think there should or should not be a salary cap on executive pay at banks who take federal assistance from the TARP program? 85% said yes, there should be a cap. 10% said there should be no cap. 5% said they're not sure. USC School of Business professor Edward Lawler says politically setting salary caps is the right thing to do in the short term, but he fears it may lead to more government regulation and have a negative impact on the economy.
Well, my biggest concern would be that it would cause really talented people not to want to get into the financial services arena because they can't earn the kind of compensation they can earn in other areas. Now, you can also say, well, maybe we should just control all executive comp and put limits on it. Well, that again begins to bother me a lot because it takes a lot of the incentive away potentially from high performance and the kind of drivers that have really led to entrepreneurial ventures and startups and successful large corporations.
And the president says the executive pay limits are just the first step. Next week, he will be unveiling a sweeping new framework for spending the rest of the $700 billion dollars in the financial industry bailout Congress approved last year. We're live in downtown Los Angeles. Giovanna Lotta, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Giovanna, thank you. 91 days and still no agreement in Sacramento on closing the $42 billion budget deficit. As a result, Wall Street has now ranked California dead last in credit risk among all the states. That means some tax dollars that could go to schools and social programs will go to higher interest payments instead. If there's no budget agreement soon, most state officials or offices, including unemployment centers, will be closed this Friday and every alternate Friday to save money. Riverside County is now considering suing the state over funds that have been cut off.
A deadly crash today when a fire truck with the lights and sirens on collided with a pickup. It happened in Mira Loma. The driver of the pickup was killed. Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan talked with people who knew the victim, and he's live now at the scene of the crash. Rob?
Right, Michelle, that scene right here at the intersection of Van Buren and Etiwanda. As you mentioned, that fire engine entered the intersection with lights and sirens on, struck the truck. The CHP working on trying to figure out which driver is at fault. Meantime, 2 firefighters were injured, and the driver of that pickup truck is dead. It's a popular country-style bar here in Glen Avon, the Horseshoe Lounge. But today was a very sad day here. We're told the owner of the place was the one who died in the crash. A crash that happened only about a mile away as the driver was on his way into work. Late this afternoon, people who knew him remembered him.
If ever there was a tragedy or anybody needed anything, Augie always stepped up. He was a very responsible bar owner, drove a lot of drunks home. I mean, you couldn't even count how many drunks that man drove home. Very responsible-minded bar owner in this town, and he definitely will be missed.
But there's pain in the local firefighting community as well. 2 of the firefighters suffered moderate injuries in the crash and were taken to the hospital.
We're all a close, tight-knit family. Anytime anybody from our firefighter family is involved or injured, we become very, very, worried.
The crash forced the closure of this busy intersection all morning. It only reopened a few hours ago. Meantime, there's still the question as to who was at fault. Did the pickup driver fail to yield to the fire engine, or did the engine proceed through the intersection in an unsafe manner, even though its lights and sirens were on?
That's unknown at this point. Everything, of course, is still under investigation. With the assistance of the MAIT team, we'll get it figured out.
So while the CHP may have finished up its on-scene investigation earlier this afternoon, they still have a lot of work ahead. Reporting live in Mira Loma, Rob McMillan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Rob. Fire broke out this afternoon on the roof of a hospital under construction in Palmdale. Take a look. This is the Palmdale Medical Center, which is still being built. The fire burned roofing material, but crews were able to keep it from spreading. There was no damage to the structure or anything inside the building, and there were no injuries. The cause of this fire is still under investigation.
A day-long search for a suspect who allegedly hit a sheriff's deputy with his SUV in Rosemead ends when the man is found in a garage. Deputies locked down 5 blocks of Rosemead, including several schools, as they hunted for that suspect. The search started after they were called to a home on Earl Avenue with reports of a woman screaming. When deputies tried to stop a man driving away, he hit a female deputy with his SUV. Deputies opened fire on the vehicle, but the suspect drove off. He crashed just a few blocks away and ran into the neighborhood where he was caught this afternoon. The deputy who was hit had just minor injuries.
LA City officials today are trying to crack down on gang violence by knocking down a gang house. The house at 3304 Drew Street in Glassell Park, former headquarters for the Avenue Street gang, was demolished by an excavator. Neighbors say the gang terrorized the neighborhood for decades. They say the demolition is a welcome sight, and they hope it'll force gang members out once and for all.
Afraid to stay out here at night? Oh, yeah. We lock our gate every night because we don't want nothing happening to our cars or anything like that.
Scary way to live.
Yeah, it is.
But not everyone in the neighborhood is convinced tearing down the house is the solution. Some fear the gang problem will just find new turf nearby to claim.
We're about to see a big change in the weather. Dallas Raines is here now with a look at our conditions right now. Dallas?
That's right, Michelle. We're checking out the very latest live shot from the Malibu camera today, and the skies were starting to cloud up late this afternoon, but it was warm, of course, across all of Southern California. I did see 85 out at Riverside, but this is the leading edge of some weather that's going to change Southern California. We're going to have some rain and, yes, some snow in the forecast. I'll have that for you in just a few minutes, so back to you guys. We'll check out the weather in just a minute.
All right, Dallas, thank you. Billions of dollars slated for the state education budget could end up getting cut, and we'll have more on that story for you.
And financial troubles aren't the only thing plaguing students. Getting into California universities is going to get tougher. Details next.
And take a look around. Do you know where the jobs are? We have hit the streets to find out where in these tough economic times you can still find work. That's coming up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kurt Sandoval. National Letter of Intent Day proved to be a touchdown for USC and UCLA. And we'll tell you why former Lakers Jerry West and Elgin Baylor were honored today.
Out of work, you can still make money. Tonight, you don't need a job to keep the cash coming in.
It was really easy.
From $20 to $2,500.
You know, you can add that up.
Eyewitness News reveals unusual ways to make money. Tonight at 11 on ABC 7.
Jeopardy ponders weak and weary about clues like this.
Okay, we've been saving his poem, The Raven, but to go even deeper, check out The Sleeper.
It's a telltale chapter of Jeopardy.
Tonight at 7 here on ABC 7. You're watching Eyewitness News in high definition.
The University of California is one step closer to dramatically altering the way the system decides which students will be offered admission. A committee of the UC Regents today approved rules that will lower the number of high school seniors guaranteed admission, but they would expand the number of students whose applications will be considered by admissions officers. The full Board of Regents is expected to vote on the plan tomorrow.
California's top schools chief is warning that the state school system is in financial trouble and that more spending cuts would be devastating. State Superintendent of Public Instruction Jack O'Connell spoke at a Save Our Schools town hall meeting today in Pasadena. The forum focused on how the state budget crisis could impact school funding across California.
The status of California public schools right now really is precarious, and we really are teetering.
Under the proposed state budget cuts, it's estimated LA County schools would lose more than $3.5 billion, or $2,200 per student.
Layoffs and downsizing, it's now affecting every sector of the job market.
All week, Eyewitness News is showing you where the jobs are, and today a look at city jobs. See what's open and what kind of experience you need to have. Coming up.
And here's a live look outside from our Burbank camera. A clear night tonight, but rain is on the way. Dallas will have all the details next.
Starting February 9th, Wheel's giving you a chance to get away. Watch all next week for your chance to win a trip to the Hilton Waikoloa Village in Wheel's second honeymoon sweepstakes.
Beats a box of chocolates, doesn't it?
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 7:30 here on ABC 7.
Well, get ready for some badly needed changes in our weather.
Well, that's so true, David, Michelle, and we're looking at the Sierra, too, which needs some snow. We should bring the snow into the Sierra tomorrow. and maybe keep it around right on through about Saturday and Sunday for the High Sierra. Here in Southern California, we're looking at the downtown camera. Good evening to our friends down in East LA, where skies are clear at this hour. It was 80 degrees downtown today. Full moon coming up on Monday. You can see how far above normal we are. 69 is a normal high for the state. 69 degrees, still a beautiful evening. The high clouds are starting to increase, kind of feeding ahead of this area of low pressure. So here's what we're looking at. You can see the vortex. It looks very impressive tonight. There it is. Southern California is right there. There's Los Angeles, all the city lights. You can see that. And then another low pressure. This will be storm number 2 that will develop from the Gulf of Alaska. So that will come down on Friday and give us even a better chance of rain and some snow. This low will make its move across towards Southern California during the day tomorrow. I think probably any rain that develops will hold off until afternoon in Los Angeles and then over toward Riverside Thursday night. But it is colder, it is unstable, and it's going to take a while, though, to kind of moisten up the atmosphere because it's still very dry from about 10,000 feet down to the surface. Here's how the computer sees it. It's rolling along, making its way through its progress toward the Southern California area. And by tomorrow evening, looks like we'll have some rain right over Southern California. That'll be 6 o'clock tomorrow night through tomorrow evening. And then we'll keep our eye on another storm. This is the second one that came out of the Gulf of Alaska. Put that into motion, and there it goes. So let's watch our time clock, and by Friday afternoon, it'll be just offshore, and this one will be cold enough to produce some snow in Southern California, and that will be, of course, in the mountain areas down to about 5,000 feet. So 2 lovely opportunities to get some rain in the Southland, and that's what we want. 52, Ontario tonight. Should be a great night if you're headed out in the Ontario area. It'll be clear with some increasing clouds, but no rain tonight. And probably even tomorrow morning we'll make it with a little ray or two of sunshine possible, but there'll be a lot of clouds around. So our temperature is going to be much cooler during the day tomorrow. Rain coming down through Ventura sometime around lunchtime, thereabouts, and then making its way down through Thousand Oaks during the late afternoon and into LA in the evening hours on into Thursday night. So here's the 7-day forecast. As I mentioned, rain coming in. We'll call it PM rain, developing late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. 65 for high. Snow level still kind of high because we've got to get some colder air into Southern Cal, and it won't happen until Friday when the snow level drops to 5,000 and 6,000 feet. How much rain will fall between tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and Saturday morning? We could see an inch of rain downtown Los Angeles, and some of the foothill communities could pick up about 1.5 inches or even 2 inches of rain. That's what we're hoping for. And then we have another chance of showers on Monday. Right now, for the weekend forecast, it looks like Sunday we'll have some sunshine, but a cool weekend. I'll see you again tonight at 11, and we'll track the storm and the very latest updates for you. See you then.
All right, very good. Dallas, thanks.
Thanks, Michelle.
This economy has put the squeeze on people looking for work, but despite layoffs and downsizing, some employers are actually looking to fill certain positions. All week, we are showing you where the jobs are. And today, Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes shows us one area of public works where the demand for jobs is strong.
How many of us, when we're driving or when we're walking, ever notice these? The tall gray boxes that stand near busy intersections. Sure, they're boring, not much to look at, until you open one up. Inside, wires and circuits and doodads that keep traffic signals signaling. The city of Inglewood alone has 2,500 traffic lights and not enough technicians to take care of them.
As LA expands, traffic is going to expand too. We all see it when we come to work every morning. So yes, we do need the bodies to help get these jobs done.
Harry Frisbee Jr. is the public works superintendent for the city of Inglewood. He has 4 positions open right now: a traffic systems supervisor, a traffic systems technician, and 2 traffic system workers.
The supervisor goes up to $6,100 per month. The entry-level positions, I believe they top out about $3,500 a month.
The demand for traffic tech jobs is so strong, Long Beach City College has built its own mock intersection.
Look up here at your meter. Okay.
Students learning in a hands-on environment.
Our enrollment is packed. Every single one of our classes are packed. We get calls for people all the time, and we don't have enough students to send them.
Anything having to do with public works or infrastructure, whether that be Caltrans, MTA, there's a lot of interest in them.
So next time you drive by one of these, look at it with wonder, savor it, because it's keeping more than just the traffic lights working. Rob Hayes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Experts say when the stimulus package passes, which is expected, they expect to see a lot more jobs in public works. To find out more about applying for these specific jobs, go to our website, abc7.com, and click on the See It on TV link. Now, coming up tomorrow, we'll show you how a 6-week course can qualify you for a variety of firefighting jobs.
Coming up, USC and UCLA stock up on new football talent, and we'll tell you who's coming to the Trojans and the Bruins.
And the face of women's basketball, Lisa Leslie, is saying goodbye to the WNBA. Kurt Sandoval has the story next in sports.
Tomorrow,
we're officially on storm track. I'll have your live Mega Doppler 7000 HD forecast.
Plus, working hard to make ends meet.
We're running different ways all the time.
How to keep the market meltdown from destroying your marriage. Tomorrow morning, 4:30 to 7 a.m. on Eyewitness News.
The latest on Elizabeth Smart. John Benet Ramsey's father cleared.
You must have suspicions about who the killer could be.
Plus, the Miracle in Missouri update.
We go home with Sean Hornbeck next Oprah. Tomorrow at 3 on ABC 7.
All right, we're getting a look at the future of our college football teams here in Los Angeles. Kurt's here with the story.
And Michelle, David, the future looks great for these two teams, especially USC. Even when they lose, they win. USC lost 2 major recruits the past week, including the nation's #1 linebacker. But the Trojans, with the help of the top quarterback and the top defensive end, rank 2nd nationally with their recruiting class. Modern-day quarterback Matt Barkley has already graduated. He will compete this spring for the starting job. Devin Kennard from Phoenix is the #1 ranked defensive lineman. Linebacker Frankie Telfort was all everything down in Miami. Agora's Kevin Graff helps bolster the offensive line. Meantime, Byron Moore from Carson could play receiver or defensive back for the Trojans. T.J. McDonald, you might remember his dad played for the 49ers when Pete Carroll was an assistant. Patrick Hall was part of St. Bonaventure's 2-time state championship team. As you can see, it's a good class for SC top to bottom.
We got a very dynamic class. I mean, I look at, they're so versatile, and these guys all can do so many things that it's really exciting to look at the future of where they can fit in and contribute on this football team. Across the board, extremely fast, extremely aggressive, and with all of the defensive guys, you see a lot of the hitting and flying around the football.
Rick Neuheisel also has a top 10 class at UCLA. Lineman Xavier Suafilo is ranked #3 in the nation among linemen. Morel Presley out of Carson is ranked by many as the #1 tight end. Quarterback Richard Brehot is very accurate. He threw 19 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. Long Beach Poly's defensive lineman Uda Tipa. I look forward to seeing that and meeting that young man. He's surely going to bolster their run defense. And the quarterback from Rancho Cucamonga, he's going to be on campus this spring so he can compete for the starter's job.
He's kind of a creator. The guy that every kid in the school wants to know what he's doing on Friday night. He's that kind of leader. He's got the charisma, the size, the speed, and the accuracy to be a great one here.
That's leadership. Well, the face of the WNBA over the past dozen years or so is saying goodbye. Lisa Leslie announced her retirement starts at the end of the upcoming Sparks season. Her priorities are like her game. Very impressive. You see, the 3-time WNBA MVP and 4-time Olympic gold medalist wants to spend more time with her family. Well, Jerry West and Elgin Baylor already have their retired jerseys hanging in the rafters at Staples Center. Today, bronze plaques were unveiled in their honor at the LA Coliseum. The Court of Honor commemorates people and events with ties to the Coliseum and the sports arena. West and Baylor are the first basketball players honored here. Both played for the Lakers when they called that home at the sports arena. Good to see for 2 great fixtures in this community.
Right, giant names.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kurt.
You bet.
We'll be right back.
Celebrate African American Heritage Month with the City of Los Angeles throughout the month of February. For more information, go to abc7.com. Brought to you by Kraft Singles.
For a look at what's coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 11, here's Mark Brown.
Thanks a lot, Michelle and David. New on Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. It just got harder to get lost. Starting today, people can really track you down with your cell phone. We hit the streets to find out what people think about that. Groceries, bills, mortgage payments, it all adds up. And in a bad economy, every penny counts. We'll show you some creative ways to make money. These stories and all the late-breaking news on the #1 newscast in Southern California. Eyewitness News at 11, following Life on Mars. Michelle, David?
All right, thanks, Mark. An exciting day for high school students interested in the music business. 1,200 high school students from LA and Las Vegas had a chance to hear from music professionals about the realities of making it in music. USC hosted Grammy Career Day, giving students a chance to talk with Grammy nominees and Recording Academy President Neil Portnow. One of the workshops featured the Grammy Jazz Ensemble performing. The program is presented by the Gibson Foundation, Recording Academy, and the Starkey Hearing Foundation.
Well, thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. World News with Charles Gibson is coming up next.
And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day, plus exclusive Eyewitness News webcasts only on abc7.com.
And be sure to join us for Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock tonight. Have a great night.